Hi, I will read you two comments. Both are made for the same game, and this will explain you all the things that are wrong about rating video games, okay? So the first one is from IGN. This is a classic. A musical delight from start to finish, Mixtape sets a new standard for coming-of-age stories in video games and does so with a masterful sense of style. Okay, they gave 100 points out of 100. And the second one is from a user called Solaris1234. One of the worst games ever created on this planet. It's aimed at the people who have no clue about gaming and only those who enjoy this garbage. Like, what do you mean? And this person gave a 0 out of 100 or whatever. Like, how can this game be so polarizing? So I played this game, and the reality is this game is not really polarizing. The problem is how we rate the video games. So how come we can put this game in the same scale with Elden Ring or with Civilization or I don't know, with Supermarket Simulator? They're completely different games, and they are designed in a completely different way for different people. So it makes no sense to me that some users get so triggered by some reviewers giving so high points, which I kind of understand a little bit. How come can you give this game 100 out of 100? That also makes no sense at all. But I think the real issue lies in how we rate games. Right, so I played this game. The game is basically just a walking simulator. It's super nice, it's very artistic, I find it, and the music is very, very good in there. Like, that's the whole premise of the game. It's Mixtape, so 3 teenagers in American suburbs. They are living their kind of the last day in town. The main character is moving out, so she prepared this a playlist, this mixtape, where they get to listen throughout their last night together and replay their memories and their current night, and it takes over a single night, and we're trying to find drinks, booze, and live their lives basically. I find the game really nice, really emotional. Getting into the game, I thought to myself, maybe I'm not gonna find something that I can relate to it, because you know, I grew up not in the 90s and I didn't grow up in the American suburbs. I'm from Turkey, so I was not so sure getting into the game if I will ever like it at all or not. But to be honest, I think it's just a coming of age story where anyone who enjoyed their teenage years a little bit can find some moments that they can relate to it, right? Like, I mean, you also probably had similar experiences when you were a teenager. You thought this is the end of the days, or this is absolute, or this is worst, you know, this intense emotions that you cannot really control. I think the game captures this really nice. So all in all, the game is really good for what it is. If you are rating the game within the walking simulator, within only story-focused games, I understand. You can give it 8, 9. If you can really relate, if you're a white person who grew up in American suburb in the 90s, if you had your teenage years, then I don't know, game gets you into this nostalgic mode also a little bit, so I understand. I can justify it. But I cannot justify how can you rate this game so highly when we are in an industry of this vast variety and vast quality of games. This doesn't make sense to me at all. And I also don't understand the users. How come can you get so triggered by these comments, by these reviews, and just give it a 0? Like, I think it's so unfair. Also for the developers, it's really unfair, right? Okay, so I think what I saw as the main criticism mostly with the game, outside of it getting high ratings. So the main criticism is having very little gameplay in it, which I agree. It has very minimal gameplay. So I don't know, it takes like 4 or 5 hours to complete, and it's a walking simulator, and there are like few sequences that you really engage with the game, but it's very limited. So you basically, I don't know, do quick button actions, or I don't know, with the skateboard you go downhill, but there's also not doing like complex tricks or something like that. So it's just experiencing this teenage story, coming of age story, right? You have to consider the game for what it is and what it promises you. I think this is the most important part. And my personal opinion is, I think this game is great. What made me like the game a little bit more is that it ended very quickly. So it was a neat story from beginning to an end, and it has a nice beginning, nice ending. It was wrapped up super nice, and also I played it in Game Pass, so I didn't have to pay $18. I think that also contributes to me rating the game a little bit more highly. But to be honest, I think this game was maybe the best game I played within this category. Of course, it makes no sense, as I said in the beginning of the video, it makes no sense to compare this game with the rest of the industry or different game genres and game styles. I think this is not how we should rate games in general, but this is the reality that we are facing. And I understand kind of the both sides, but I find also both sides a little bit mistaken in here. The game is definitely not 0, but it's also not definitely 100. If you have Game Pass, if you like these kind of story games, if you grew up in the US, if you grew up in the suburbs in the 90s, if you have teenage memories of making mixtapes, I don't know, getting DVDs from Blockbuster or filling in slushies in 7-Eleven, I think you might really enjoy this game. But if you are really looking for something that you can engage with, something that challenges you, something that makes you take complex decisions, this game is not for you. My rating, if I am rating it amongst the walking simulators games within this category, then I can give it also a 9 out of 10. I find it really nice and really emotional, and the playlist and the story kind of stick with me. Although I said I'm coming from a different background, I ended up finding things that I can also relate to. And if I have to rate this out of 10 as a game, I don't know what to do. I reject this kind of rating. I think it makes no sense to rate it this way, so I won't rate it. As I said, if you have a Game Pass or if you like these kind of things, give it a shot, give it a chance. Like and subscribe to the video. See you in the next one. Bye bye.